G'day and welcome. Okay, I did this controversial video on my other channel years ago, and it got a lot of people up and going and riled up on it, and because of people have different takes on things, and that's basically polyethylene finishes versus nitrocellulose lacquer versus natural finish, like a stain, light stain, whatever. Now, some people say there's no difference whatsoever. There is no tonal differences between using nitrocellulose lacquer and polyethylene. And to those people, what I say, if you can't hear the difference, don't worry about it. Conversation ends here. But what I find, and maybe everybody's ears are different, maybe your ears are better than my ears, maybe my ears are better than your ears, and I can pick things out. But I do notice a definite difference between guitars when they have the, pretty much armor coating of polyethylene paint like this, or even on like my acoustic back there, my Ibanez AEL10, it has polyethylene paint on it too, versus a varnish or a lacquer finish, and you really notice it with the acoustics, or a nitrocellulose lacquer finish like this. Now, nitrocellulose lacquer is a breathable, softer finish. Now, some people say that no, they're just doing it because it's cheaper. That could be, it might be cheaper, sure, but the process of putting it on is pretty much the same as putting on the polyethylene. Like you got to prep the guitar the same way, all that. So there's not really that much difference there. So cost, I don't know if that's really an argument or not, but it is a softer finish. This is why when you find guitars with nitrocellulose lacquer that are getting a little bit aged, you tend to see around the sharp edges, it tends to flake off and stuff like that. It just is what it is because it's a softer finish, right? But yeah, I do find that lighter finish does give you a little bit more ambience, a little bit more tone. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but it's there. So why would you pick one over the other? Well, if you're picking a jam night guitar, okay, and this is why you'll find this with almost every Les Paul, is you get into a bar, okay, the room is cool, and the guitar sounds a little bit funky at first. You tuned it up, but it seems like for the first, until the guitar warms up, it doesn't seem to want, it just sounds stiff and unnatural. Then once it warms up, it just sounds so good. Now, most guitars are like that, but with the polyethylene guitars, you don't notice it as much. But with the lighter finish guitars, what it is the humidity affecting your tone, and it does. Now, when these guitars warm up, man, they just sound so good. But it seems like it takes a song or two for the guitar to really kind of relax and warm up. Now, the polyethylene, the same thing happens with it, but the thing with the polyethylene is that the polyethylene is more sealed off. It's basically plastic paint. So the humidity doesn't get into your guitar, but it also dulls the sound. I'm going to talk about tone woods in the next, and the finishes are almost the same argument as the tone woods, but I'll do the different thing on the tone woods as well. But what about natural finishes? For example, Nuno Betancourt's N4 series guitar, N4, N5, N6, whatever he's got, that Washburn. He's got no finish on there whatsoever. It's just a light, a very light, stain on there. That's it. Which makes the guitar very susceptible to humidity. Not to the point where it's like an acoustic, but you will notice it. Your guitar will act a little funky on you. It might detune a little bit if the temperature changes dramatically. And I have played that guitar before, and I can tell you, if you play them unplugged, you will notice that if you grab a guitar with the same material, one with a polyethylene finish, one with a natural finish, you will hear a sustained difference with the wood being able to breathe a bit more with the natural finish. So the more natural finish you get, the more natural tone you get out of the guitar. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is a thing. And the compromise is nitrocellulose lacquer. The problems with nitrocellulose lacquer, like I say, it's an easy finish to damage, but it's also an easy finish to repair. Polyethylene is harder to damage, much harder to damage and scratch up, and it doesn't flake on you over time, but it's a lot harder to repair. But you can repair these things. It's just it's a little bit more different. Varnishes and natural finishes, like natural wood stains, like for example, these violins, they got varnish on them, but that one there just behind my lovely saxophone, my Amazing World's cheapest saxophone, that thing's pretty much a natural stain on it. It's not even really a varnish. It's so light, and that's what allows you to hear the wood. You know, that's why they don't put polyethylene on violins and stuff like that. It allows you to hear the wood. So whatever holds for the violins, that holds also for the guitars. So the thinner the finish, and with a violin you only put on one layer. Like it's as thin as just enough to protect the wood. That's it. The more the violin can breathe, for example, the better it sounds, right? Well, guitars are the same. Now, with electrics, it's not the same as acoustics, but you really do notice it with the acoustic guitars. But that's also, for example, I've talked about that guy with the T3 Taylor at one of the jam nights I used to go up Baseline Station all the time. Great little place to play. But he had a T3 Taylor. This is like a $3,500 guitar with a natural finish. And you could tell on a really humid night there, it would really affect his guitar. He was tuning up a lot more, stuff like that. And you could also see the moisture going into the wood, starting to stain the wood over a couple of weeks. That's why you put finishes on guitars so they don't get stained. If you look at Nuno Bettencourt's guitar, or like say any like like Stevie Ray Vaughan Stratocasters and stuff like that, where the wood's all worn off and bare, you could clearly see that the wood is taking on moisture. Sometimes you'll see like a graying of the wood because it's the body sweat is basically getting absorbed into the wood pores, and then you got the salt from you and stuff like that. It damages the guitar big time. These guitars you got to pretty much wipe them down after every time you play them. You don't use guitar polishes and stuff when they're new. In fact, Nitro Cleos lacquer will feel sticky when the guitar is brand new for a couple of months. Don't put any polish on your Nitro Cleos finish for at least a year. Just wipe it down with a lip-free, proper cloth, and just keep rubbing it. And when you rub it down, it work hardens the lacquer too, so that not only retains the shininess, but you can see like it's dulled a bit there from from sweating and stuff like that. So the finishes are a little more fragile. They look great. They're like mirror image when you get them all shined up, but they are more fragile. But the trade-off is you get a little more tone out of it. And I know some people won't agree with that, but from my ears, yes, I can hear the difference. I've played SGs with polyethylene, and I obviously play SGs with Nitro Cleos lacquer, and yes, I can hear the difference. Is it a big difference? No, it's subtle. Like I say, if you can hear the difference between guitar finishes, I can distinguish, for example, rosewood fingerboards from ebony fingerboards. Maybe not off of a recording with effects, but if you play them, you can hear the difference. I can, a maple neck versus mahogany neck. I can hear the difference in the woods. I can hear the difference of a mahogany guitar versus a maple or an alder guitar, or might as well say poplar, but the basswood body, poplar, basswood's pretty much same family group of tree. I can distinguish the tonal difference between them. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. So if you like this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like button and share button. Have a great day, eh?